Good evening, Mufelola. Anne-Marie, good evening. Daniel Atsenga. Good evening. Welcome. Abotu, welcome. Evening. Anuojo, good evening. Shegun Fatuma, evening. Princess Juliet Ihama, good evening. Elizabeth Ali, Bosefaya Jola. Ola Sheon, good evening. Rochelle White. Joy Akanono. Jide Craig. Yomi Jegede. Mashu Esong. Shegun Fatsumo. Again, different location today. No, the same location, just different, yeah. The same studio, but a little bit different location, yeah. Gregory Albertson, just a little bit movement today, to the right. Dr. Bien Sufficient, Louisa Wright, Shigonwa for Apostle Yomi, Shioma, Deborah Cole, Gladys Nshang, Caroline Shoronke. Welcome, everyone. Louisa is from Switzerland, okay. Stella Nuhu, Ladi Shoronke, Paul Esupofo. Nice to see all of you. Agape, Maji Yagbe, Dimitri Pistel, Dobre Veshe. Yatibia Jdu Voskresenia, Dimitri. Yapolushil, Altibia Pismon, Tota Pisa Zatibia, Yatibia Jdu Voskresenia. Ayiba Ebi, Patti Bafu, Ola Yemi Samson, Shegun Lawal, Paul Good News, Ohayere, Adeleke Adeniyi, Yan Babs, Lola Shoronke. All right, guys, now it's time to go. Remember, this week we are talking about, we are preaching and talking about, we are talking about the ladies, we are talking about the women. And our topic this week is how women should relate to their husband, how women should relate to their husbands to be able to keep the family together. And to better understand your husband, what the husbands are willing to tell, wishing to tell their wives. And so we've been talking about this all week, talking to the ladies. So this week is talking to the ladies about their husbands and how they could better understand their husbands and better serve their husbands. So today's topic is recognize your husband's individuality. Recognize your husband's individuality. Recognize your husband's individuality. Now, that is a need right there. It might not look like an important question. It might not look like it's a big need. But I tell you, it's really needed. And men would like for their wives to recognize their individuality. And that's what we're talking about today. Recognize your husband's individuality. First of all, I want to make the point that the fact that you are married, and you know, the Bible says that two become one, right? One flesh. But that doesn't mean that we disappeared into each other. That does not mean that we actually, we are entangled together physically. That does not mean that we actually become one in the physical realm. So we don't join. We are not joined to one another, isn't it? Since we are not joined to each other, that means that we shouldn't take that literally. It means that we are We are one as a family, as a union. It's more as a union rather than being one physically. By the way, there is a link there from me talking about people who would like to advertise and who would like to invite people to this program. If you want to print out some of the invitation cards to invite people there, you can follow that link from me. Or you could, or if you want to come to Ukraine for HMT in January from 2nd to the 6th, you might want to come. Then you need to write to, that there will be another link that you need to follow. Write to guest@godembassy.org. That is when then you'll be able to participate in the January HMT. All right, but recognize your husband's individuality. That is so necessary and is so essential, because recognizing your husband's individuality is one of the silent cries of husbands. Is one of husbands' silent cries. And like I was saying, the fact that you are married, even though the Bible says that if two become one flesh, doesn't really mean that you are joined to one another. There is no conjugulation or whatever you call it happening. There is no amalgamation. There is no, joining together physically. We still remain individual people. We still remain individuals, even though we are married. Now, this is a very big question when it comes to the men. The men would like to actually like their wives to know that the fact that I'm married, the fact that we're husband and wife, I recognize that, I honor that, and I'm going to be the best husband I could be, but I'm still an individual. I'm still a person. I'm still my own person. I'm still an individual. I'm still a person on my own. We are not conjugated. We were not, is it conjugated you say? Yeah, we are not conjugated. We are not joined together. So there was no conjugation happening there. So we are still individual. I still have my desires. I still have my needs. I still have my interest. I still have my hobby. I still have my desires. I still have my strength or weaknesses and advantages and disadvantages. I still have my individuality. That the fact that we are married does not mean that we sacrifice or lose our individuality. And the man actually, men are guys, they are guys. And the fact that they are married doesn't mean that they will have to disappear from their friends. That doesn't mean that they have to disappear from their friends and, from their hobbies or from their buddies, from their, clubs or groups or company that they used to hang out in, and then they just live with their wives, and the only life they have now is their wife. So they don't have their wife. They don't have their lives anymore. They cannot go and play tennis. They cannot play go and play, hockey or whatever, football, soccer. They cannot go to parties or visits or their old friends. Now they just have to sit with their wives. Some wives want that. Some wives really want that. And men don't like that too much. They want to remain who they are. They don't want to lose themselves just because they're married. They want to remain themselves. They want to remain who they are. And they want their wives to understand that. They want their wives to understand this. Now, Shigo is writing something here and says, some men like their wives to disappear totally into them. So, okay, now what she is saying is that this is not just a problem for the ladies. This is not just a ladies' problem, that this could be women's problem as well. So it could be. I'm sure there are some men that want to do that, but basically it is because the men are probably controlling. If the men want to do that, it's because they are controlling. It's because they just control, and they want to control their wives. But the wives, if the wives do that, it's probably because the wives think that, now that we're a family, we have to be together. And that's what it means to be married. And that's what it means to be a family. But, you know, yes, even though the husband understands that, every husband understands the fact that, yeah, we're a family now, and we're going to be together, and now we can, you know, we have to, you know, be one family, one body, you know, together and all that. But still, you know, there are sometimes that the man just wants to unwind. And of course, he unwinds at home, right? But sometimes he wants to go wild. He wants to go beyond the boundaries of the family and beyond the boundary of the home. He just wants some fresh air, you know. And that is one thing that we've got to help the ladies to understand, that men must be men, men must be, just like the ladies must be the ladies. I mean, girls must be girls, ladies must be ladies. Just like women must be women, in the sense that women have to be women, they have to, you know, they have to go shopping, they have to talk with their girlfriends, they have to chat, and they have to go out, do the girls' things. The same way, men like to do their own thing as well. So this is the kind of thing that the man would like to the woman to understand. Yeah, it's a kind of freedom. They want to maintain a form of freedom, some form of freedom. They it's more like men are married and still free. Not free to be with other women we're talking about now, but we're talking about just being free to be able to, you know, to be able to just be themselves. That's what they would say, to be able to be themselves. They want to be able to pursue their dreams, their passion, their ambition, their goals. Even though they love their families, they would like to be with their family. They would do their best for their family. They will give themselves up for the family in most cases. But, you know, sometimes they want to just be, they want you to know that we could still be independent of each other, even though we are married. Married, but still a bit free. Not free to go and be chasing ladies or men or things like that, but free to just, you know, be able to do some things that they like sometimes. And otherwise, it's going to be boring. Otherwise, it's going to be boring. But what we are talking about is recognizing your husband's individuality. That means, as a lady, it's wisdom. That is wise from your end to kind of study what your husband likes and what are his interests. You should recognize that your husband could have his interest. Your husband could have his interest and his activities that he likes to do, or what he likes to do to unwind, or who are the people he likes to hang up with, and where are the places he likes to go. And so to stop him from doing those things might not be the best of options. So let him be himself. You know, if he becomes boring, okay, Nena is saying boring with wife. Pastor, are you saying a man could be bored with his wife? How could you be bored because if you have a wife? Okay, how do I say that? How could you still be bored if you are married? Okay, not bored like being with a woman. I don't think that's the kind of thing we're talking about. But can you imagine even you as ladies, can you imagine yourself being with your husband all day long without going to work, without doing anything, just being with him all day long? Won't you be bored sooner or later? I don't think the fact that you are married saves you from boredom. I think that, you know, there are other aspects of life, you say. There is something they call the circle of life, or life circles. So you have family, you have spiritual life, you have church, you have your social group, social network, you have your job, you have your, hobby, you have your, there are about 10 areas of life that everybody must have, apart from just being, family is just one of them. Even though family is the most important of them, but still, apart from family, you must still have some other things in your life that are working for you. Otherwise, it would be like you are in a prison yard, at least for the men. That's the way it looks like. So, some men they just need to go and Because if you are with them all the time, they are going to be bored. I tell you that one. It's true. It's true. They are going to be bored. They cannot be with you 24/7. I think it's even to the advantage of the woman to allow him to go and get some, to unwind somewhere, to go with his friends somewhere, go and play some games or some tennis or some, so whatever he wants to do. And when he comes back, let him, it's going to be a renewed relationship. Your relationship is going to be fresher if you let him go. But if you just hold him by your side and you say you cannot go anywhere, you must be here all the time, you might reap a hungry man at the end of the day. You might not like what you see. you might not enjoy him anymore at the end of the day. Felicity says, if they both love each other, I don't think there should be any boredom. I know a couple like that, always together. Okay. Well, I'm talking from the point of view of a man, and if you ask the men, the fact that they want to have some time to just have some, unwinding or a time of, just like a free moment or like a free chance to roam about, not with other ladies again, I'm saying it. That doesn't mean that they don't love each other. That does not mean that they don't love their wives. Men are just like that. Men are more freedom-loving people, more freedom-loving than maybe women could understand. This is one of the major differences between men and women. Women want to marry and stick together forever, right? But men want to marry, live together, but still maintain a certain part of their own life. They will still want to maintain a certain part of their life. By the way, if you have not shared this message yet, please go ahead and share the message, because this could be a blessing to some families. So let's go share the message. Let's go look for the share button. It should be under your video there. Let's go share the message. Let's go share the message. It will be a blessing to somebody. Okay, Nena is saying it is unfair for men to go out and hang out feeling cool and want the wife to be home waiting and feeling lonely. We women love freedom too. Well, I don't think that the men will really be against taking the ladies with them. I think sometimes the men will be happy to take the ladies with them, but some of the things they want to do and some of the places they want to go, the ladies might not enjoy that place too much. Maybe ladies would like to have their own kind of societies or company. Maybe that will be totally different from the kind of things that men want to do. Like, for example, a man wants to go to the stadium. Some women, I know women go to the stadium these days too, but not all women would like that. Women would rather go to the restaurant. And that's what I think. But, not that they don't want to go with their wives, but they just, sometimes, yeah, I don't know how to explain that. And Marie said, men want their space. They don't want a hang bag, yeah? They don't want a handbag in their space every time, yes. This is what I also want. I want him to have his space so I can also have my personal time. Actually, that's the way it's supposed to be, really. If you are both busy, especially if you're a woman that also has a purpose and you are pursuing your own vision, your own purpose, your own agenda, your own goals in life, you will need your space as well. You will need your space too. Both men and women need their space, I think, but the men really have a need for it. If you don't give men the space, it will be suffocating, I tell you that one. It will just feel like it's suffocating in the family. Even in the family, it could feel as if it's being suffocated. Shigo said, I like to go shopping alone. Yeah, things like that. Things like that. You will not drag your husband with you shopping. He will be bored. He will feel so bored. Some women like to drag their husbands with them shopping, but the men don't like it. They might try their best to hang around, but they would rather go to somewhere to watch some soccer or something like that. But I don't think they will enjoy all the time that you are spending in that shop. I used to go with my wife to shop, but I would just sit downstairs and say, okay, you go upstairs, I will sit down here. And she doesn't like it too. She wants me to be going and walking. After walking for 2 hours, I said, okay, princess, I'm tired. Maybe I'm just going to sit here. You go and do what you need to do. She goes, their social life is essential. Anyway, men want to be married and free. After all, they don't change their names at marriage. Well, I will not put it that way. Oh, Waleba and Joko, this is my uncle here. Women have certain things they enjoy alone, like my wife and daughter to the nail salon. Yeah, that's true. I like to go to the sports club and enjoy exercise and playing squash. It's natural for both sexes, you see. So women also have their own preferences. So, but for the men, it's absolutely essential. It's absolutely essential. And women also can find their own thing to go do, like going to the nail salon and go shopping and things like that. And the boys can go and do what the boys like to do. So marriage does not cancel that. We don't allow marriage to cancel that. So the man wants you to give them that, at least that little privilege. Just let them be them. If they like to do sports, if they like to go to the gym, please don't stop them. Let them be them, all right? The fact that you are married and you love each other does not mean that you cancel each other's individualities. You don't cancel each other's individuality. And sometimes some people think, but now that we love each other, then our desires must be similar. Our hobbies must be similar. We must like the same thing. We must do the same thing. Not necessarily. You are still individuals. Your husband could like going to the gym and you don't like going to the gym. Or you might like going running and your husband likes to go, playing, doing something else. You might like to watch, movies or to go to the cinema, and your husband might not like to go to the cinema. He might want to go doing something, maybe fishing maybe. And maybe you like shopping and he doesn't. So the fact that you are husband and wife, that doesn't mean that you have to have similar taste for everything and, like the same thing, do the same thing. No. Let everybody maintain their individuality. You are still individual. You are still an individual person. And that must be recognized. That should be recognized. And she also is an individual person. And you too, as a husband, have to recognize that. But for the ladies, since I'm talking to the ladies this week, I want to encourage the ladies to pay attention to that husbands have desire to express themselves. A man must be given the chance and the freedom to express himself in his own individual manner. And let him take his decisions. Okay, for example, there used to be a presidential candidate in America. I think his name was John Kennedy or something like that. He ran with Obama the last time. He ran against Obama. He took number 3 or so. I think it was from the Democratic Party, and it was one of the famous politicians in America. He was a senator, I think. And this man was so famous. I mean, he was almost winning the American presidency. Then during the campaign, it was discovered that he had a mistress that had maybe a girl, a kid for him, or 2 kids maybe even. And the wife was so frustrated. She was so disappointed. She was so broken that soon after that she, fell sick, got cancer, and she died, actually. She died soon after that. And I was reading, I think she wrote a book or so. Either she wrote a book or an article or something. I read maybe what she wrote. And what she said is that, before she died, she said, what I discovered is that You know, I was always the one taking the decision in the family. And my husband was always saying, okay, if that's what you want. And I will ask him, are you okay? Okay, I will plan the holidays. I say, okay, we are going to this place for holidays. Or we are choosing this kind of holiday. And he will say, okay, darling. So she said what she discovered now, after 30 years of marriage, is that all those years, the husband had actually been suffering in silence. The husband had actually been suffering in silence. Whereas she was thinking that they had the best family, that we have the best family, my husband is just an angel. And my husband he doesn't argue with me. He does everything that we want to do. He's such a good guy. But really, he was suffocating. He was dying because he was not enjoying the kind of lifestyle that he wanted. He was not doing so I think when they spoke to him, he said just to avoid conflict and to avoid quarrels, he was always quiet. He would just rather do it our own way. So he would rather do what she wanted. He would rather, and their children were grown-ups. And they were grown up and they didn't even know this. And he would just, agree. Let's do it as mom says. Yeah, John Edwards, right. Steve Lambert just helped me out. John Edwards is his name, yes. So he would just agree to her desires and to whatever she wanted. And he said, because I didn't want a conflict in the family. I didn't want a fight or a crisis in the family. So I just go along. I just want us to go along. And so before she died, she actually wrote a book. And I think that is her legacy, even though she's dead. And I think that a book, every woman needs to read it because it's a great lesson. It's a painful lesson. It's not pleasant. It's a bitter lesson, very painful lesson. But we all could learn from that tragedy. We all could learn from that tragedy because sometimes men just want to avoid conflict. They just want to avoid quarrels. They want to avoid fights in the family. And they go along. And you thinking that they are okay and that they are happy and they are enjoying the whole process. But they might not be enjoying it really. They might not be enjoying it. Just in the case, like in this case that I'm talking about right now. And of course, the political career of the guy was ruined. And the family totally collapsed. And, things just went awry. Things just went, very bad. But still, we all can learn from that today. And it is from there that I'm trying to get us this lesson that we should learn from it. And we should learn to talk. We should learn to, we should learn to understand each other and give each other that space, that space that each one of us might need. Stephen says, unity is not and does not require uniformity. Brilliant. Well said. True in marriage and true in church as well. So the fact that we are united in marriage does not mean we must be uniformed in everything. The fact that we are married doesn't mean that we just have to like the same thing, do the same thing, prefer the same thing, be in the same place all the time, everything uniform. That could lead to this kind of tragedy that I just shared with you now. And the same thing with churches. In church, really, that's well said, really. That is really well said by Stephen, that, we are one in Christ, right? It doesn't matter what denomination you have or what church you go to. We are still one in Christ if you really believe in Jesus and if you have accepted him as your Lord and Savior. But that does not mean we've got to be uniformed and be the same and have the same kind of church, style of worship or preaching and things like that. Elizabeth says, wow, that was 30 years of abuse. Very sad. I would not call it abuse. I would not call it abuse because this lady didn't know. She thought she was doing her best. She actually thought they had a great family. Everybody thought they had a great family. But it was just, he was just quiet, going along, Then I think he lost it at the point and just got a younger girl where he was unwinding. He was unwinding somewhere else with a younger lady. Well, now, I don't say that is okay. I don't say that is right. But just telling you what this kind of thing could lead to. This kind of, lack of understanding in this sense could lead to this kind of thing. So allow your husband to express himself. Allow your husband to express himself. Allow your husband to enjoy what he enjoys. Because men go through pressures in life. Men go through pressures. And if they don't have a place to unwind, and if you say, no, you must be happy just being with me. I'm here. You have to be happy, but you are married to me, so you've got to be happy with me. Why should you like to unwind somewhere else? I'm here for you. Why do you need anybody else to unwind? I'm all you need. That's why I'm telling you this, that, you've got to understand men. You've got to understand men. If he needs to go and play his golf, let him go play his golf. Let him go play his golf. Even though he has you, but I tell you, when it comes from that golf, you are going to be happier. But if you hold him and you keep on holding him from going to play his golf, you might not be happy at the end of the day. I'm sorry. So, okay, Agape said, if a man goes with you to shopping, you will only buy half of what you are bargaining for, because they always complain of staying in the shop for too long. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Leave him alone. Let him go do what he wants to do. Afolabi says, men can't be spending their time with their wives always because they have other important things to them that they want to do. Nkiru, for example, is saying, my husband is a total opposite of me. So she cannot get him, for example, to be doing the same thing she wants all the time. So, the fact that you are married doesn't mean that you are going to love the one and the same thing. You can still be married and have different interests. Yes. Chigo said, it's boring because I experienced that situation when the food in the restaurant was even the same. It was a mega put off, just eating the same food in the restaurant all the time. Yeah, because the fact that you are a family doesn't mean that you still don't have your needs or your wants. You still have your desires and your needs and wants that might be different. Omonika said, Pastor Sunday, some men don't want their women to maintain their individuality. Well, yes, there are some men that don't want the woman to maintain their individuality, and that is control. That is being domineering. And that is exactly what I'm trying to explain here, that both men and women really need the individuality. And both men and women need their space. But since I've spoken to the men last week, I'm now talking to the women. That's why my emphasis is on the women this time. Joy said, women should learn how to hang out once in a while without gossip and jealousy. Learn to love ourselves, celebrate our differences, even without our husbands. Yeah. Elizabeth says, I too want to be alone most of the time to express myself. You say, we all need it. The Gift says, husbands have to have their different interests because man must be man. Angela says, the beauty of marriage is when two completely different individuals come together and recognize the value of alone time. Felicity said, but Pastor, if it's a union recognized in heaven, they easily start liking the same thing. Ooh, wow, okay. So if their union is recognized in heaven, they have to begin to like the same thing? I don't think I'm from that school of thought. I don't think I subscribe to that school of thought that if their union is from heaven, then they've got to like the same thing. Is that really so? I don't think so. And I've been married for almost for almost 25 years now. And I don't think so that if the union is from heaven, then they've got to like the same thing. I beg to disagree. Nana says, Pastor, I tell you, leaving the man to go out and hang out by himself without a check will be risky. If they hang out with the wrong force, it could be catastrophic. So you rather control him, right? Well, I'm not sure. I think it might be worse if you try to control him. Stephen says, look at the creation. No two trees are alike. No two people are alike. Even biological things are different, for example, which is absolutely true. Chukwamaka says, women should find what their men do to unwind and also where they go to unwind and send them there or make them do that thing. Men will appreciate it. Yes. That is so true. Well, let's continue this topic. I want to give some point to the ladies. Let me give you ladies some help. What are the things that, because I see some ladies are really finding it difficult to understand that men need their space and men need their freedom. So let me give you some examples of what you could do to really help him or to release him, and to, how ladies might be standing on the way of their husband or of his freedom, and how to help to let him go. For example, when, you need to recognize his individuality when you are planning your vacation. Whenever you are planning your vacation, sometimes the ladies just want their opinion to be the final one. So normally what happens when you're planning for a place like vacation is because the ladies have more influence over the children. Normally the husbands will just say, okay, you choose. At least that's what I do, and that's what I think that most men would do. Most men will probably give the priority and the choice to the lady to decide where they will go to rest, what kind of rest they are going to have, what kind of vacation they are going to have, where they will go for vacation. And so, in most cases, the ladies don't bother. Maybe not in all families, but in some cases, in some families, the ladies don't even bother any longer to find out from the wife, from the husband, what his desires are and what he will prefer. Where will he prefer to go on a vacation? What kind of vacation will he like, or will he rather prefer, and things like that. So, that's what I'm saying, that in a case like that, like vacation, you might want to, really hear him out and and balance it out and, hear what he wants and then reach an agreement. It's better for you people to reach an agreement in such a case than to just say, well, I'm in charge of this, let me just go ahead and plan it. It might go along with you, but it might not be the best thing that you want to happen. Another area where men's individuality need to be considered sometimes is when, I don't know how in what family, but I know that in some cases, when you want to put, like when you want to do, maybe you want to build a new house, or you want to buy new furniture, or you want to buy, or choose color of your painting in the house, when you want to, your house makeup. Now, in most families, I know that most men, when it comes to the house makeup and the house, arrangement, most men will rather like the woman to take the priority, to decide what kind of kitchen you want to have, what kind of bathroom, what kind of bedroom, what kind of color, what kind of things you want in the family, in the house. Now, most men will just say, go ahead and do it. Go ahead. They will give the freedom and the liberty for their wife to go ahead and plan the house and do the renovation and interior designs and do everything that needs to be done in that case. But sometimes the man, even though he's giving you the liberty to go and do that and to go and fix everything the way it's supposed to be, but sometimes the man still wants to be consulted. Sometimes he still wants to be consulted. Sometimes he still wants his opinion to be heard. Sometimes he still desires to, maybe he will not be in charge of everything. Maybe he will not say too much. Maybe he will only say one or two little things, but he still wants to be heard. He still expects you to come and ask him if he's happy with that, if he wants to change anything, or if he prefers anything. So these are just a little example of some of the things that I have experienced, and I think that a lot of men will really appreciate that their individuality are considered, because he's going to live in that house as well. Now, another area where the individuality of the man might be, considered and is often neglected is in the area of shopping. And I know that, like for example, in my case, when I just got married, I used to like to shop and just do my wife surprise. I used to think it was a good thing that I was going to surprise her. And what I would do, I would go and find out her size and the underwear size, her dress sizes, her shoe size. And I would just go somewhere, and whenever I'm coming back from anywhere, I would go and buy some things for her. Some clothes or some dress or some, shoes or some bags. This is very surprising. This is a shock for me, because each time I bought something for her, she would say thank you, but I see that even though she's saying thank you, but she's not happy. So this is another area where we abuse each other's individuality. Even though I wanted to do something fine, or sometimes I'll go and buy a necklace or some jewelry for her, and she will say thank you. Then the next thing I see, she's giving it out to somebody else. Okay. So I see that most of the things I've ever bought for my wife, even if she's kept them, but she's not like overly excited about them. Then at the end of the day, we just had to sit down and talk. Then she kept on telling me, don't be buying things for me. And I was just thinking, how can a wife be telling the husband, don't be buying things for me? Okay, I didn't know that. She said, don't be buying things for me because you're always buying the wrong stuff. So that also tells us about the individuality. And in this case, a woman's individuality. And I thought I was going to be surprising her. But those surprises always work the wrong way. They always walk the wrong direction. So, the same with the men. The same thing with the men. The men also, sometimes their individuality needs to be considered when you are doing shopping. Not just shopping for them, but even shopping for the house. Ladies most of the time do the shopping for the house and, do all that. But sometimes, even though you could do the shopping, but still, you might want to consider the individuality of your husband, and you might want to, hear him out. You might want to hear his opinion, or you might want to, hear his preferences and let him contribute. So these are different little areas where, where the individuality of the spouses might need to be considered, especially when it comes to the men. Because I'm talking this week to the women about their husband, about their men. Another area where there could be some disagreements in the family, and where the individuality of the husband might need to be considered is when it concerns the choice of buying things for the children, when it concerns the children, especially during the birthday of the children or their holidays or their New Year or Christmas sessions or their birthday parties or ceremonies. A lot of times the men give the mother the preference on what to do on the special days for the family, for the children, for their birthdays, for their New Year, Christmas, and things like that. But sometimes the man also might have an opinion, So, but a lot of times, the ladies just, because they are the ones who are mostly at home, they just take responsibility. But what I'm trying to say is that, you might want to consider the individuality of your husband in some of these cases, even when it comes to little things like buying things or, a choice of gifts and things like that, or dress for your children. But when you come to him and you tell him, oh, I've already decided, oh, we are going to Florida. Oh, I've already decided, we are going to Disneyland. Oh, we've already decided. The man will go along, but he might not be happy at the end of the day. He might not be happy at the end of the day. Now, I don't know how things are in most families, but in my family, for example, it is my wife that is in charge of the finances, okay? So I come home, I give all the finances to my wife because, first of all, she's more disciplined in that area. Secondly, she's more meticulous, and she's, anyway, that's just what we have decided. So she is in charge of finances, and of course, I want her to be in charge of finances because I want her to kind of sit over the empire, so to say. I want her to feel power, I want to give her some equilibrium, some kind of leverages. So for me, my wife being in charge of the finances to give her some more peace of mind and some more assurance and some more leverages. And anyway, so she's in charge of finances. Now, if you have that kind of family, when your wife, when you as the wife is in charge of the finances, even though your husband is giving you all the right and the authority over the money, but despite that, that does not still mean that you have to totally neglect his opinion or his will or his preferences sometimes. So sometimes you might want to, like my wife always does that, even though I tell her that I don't need to hear the report and know what she has spent for what and where she has spent what amount, but she always does it as a matter of principle. She will always come back and share with me how much she has spent and where she has spent the money, what has happened, and what are the things she's doing, that kind of carries me along. So it carries me along and gives me some understanding of where we are financially. But I know some women could take all the money and and go on a shopping spree. And then the poor man will be wondering what happened. And the lady had just come back from shopping. Oh, you've given all the money to the church. That happens a lot of time. I heard that this happens a lot of time, that some women will go to church and hear the pastors call for some offerings or some sacrificial offerings or prophetic offering or faith seed or first fruit offering. Or, pastors are coming with so many manipulative things these days. And so all these pastors, they keep on having some need every Sunday. Some churches, they keep on having some prayer requests and some offerings, some fundraising, some money raising, and then the woman will go home because she's been so touched by the anointing of these men of God. She goes home and and brings all the savings of the husband, or brings all the savings of the family and just gives to the offering. And then the man is totally disgusted because he's saying, what happened? I thought we were planning for this and that. But she said, oh, God will bless us. God will bless us, because the man of God said, if you give this amount, God will bless you. God will do this. But you know what? I will advise such women to be careful and to rather seek advice of the husband before you give all the money he's worked so hard for for your church building or church whatever mission or whatever the church is doing. So when it comes to money, you know, even if you are given the authority to manage the money and everything, you know, still carry the man along. Carry the man along, otherwise it's going to be very painful to him. It's going to be very, very painful. Now, another area where I think that ladies could really recognize the individuality of their husband is when a man comes back from work. That is a complicated issue, because most men, when they come back from work, that is not the time they want to. Let me just tell you the way it is. When men come back from work, the first thing they want to think about is maybe eat and then rest. They just want to rest. This is just universal. Most men don't want to do any homework or home task or home chores or house chores or help in the house or anything like that, even though they should, but maybe not immediately they come from work, because most of the time when men come from work, they will just want to eat and rest. And rest doesn't mean they go to sleep. And this is what women don't like. For the men, rest could mean watching TV. For the men, he's resting when he's watching TV. For the men, rest could mean either watching TV or, you know, doing something on the computer or something like that, or watching a movie or sports or something. For him, he's just unwinding. He's just unwinding and he's just resting. Now, that is a little bit difficult for the ladies, because the ladies are thinking, okay, I need you to help me do something right now. But the wisdom there is for the ladies to know that not at least for the first 2 hours after he comes back from work. The very first 2 hours or so after a man comes back from work, he wants to unwind. You know, you might want to hang out around him and maybe talk with him, joke with him, or do some things to help him unwind. But that is not when he wants to do some serious, you know, house chores or serious work at home, or help you to do some things at home. Or that's not exactly when he wants to talk. He wants to talk some serious matters about the family. When he just comes back from work, he wants to rest. And resting for him might not be sleeping. He might just be lying down there or watching TV or just, you know, doing work, playing on the internet or something. But, you know, so that is an area where ladies must understand that, you know, there's a need for the man after work to kind of have a little bit of space to himself. He needs some space to himself, and, you know, it will be wise of the lady to give him some time out and to just let him recover a little bit. And then after that, then you could come with all your problems and your... I know that's a challenge for the woman, because the woman has, maybe she's been waiting the whole day and expecting him to come back, and she begins to unload on him. And the woman begins to unload on him all the concerns she's been having for the whole day, and wants him to listen, and, you know, begins to tell him all the stories. And he's just not in that mood, I tell you. He's not there right now. He wants to, you know, to just, yeah, to just, he wants to just unwind, and then later on he will be in the mood to do all that, but not immediately. So, ladies, just be aware of that. Another area that you ladies need to recognize the need for your husband's individuality is that you should not, no, let me say it this way. Men don't fancy it too much when they have to give reports. Okay? Men don't like to be ordered to give report. Okay, there was $1,000 the other day that you had. What did you do with it? Ooh, men don't like that. All right, okay, you spend $5 on that, or $50 on that, or $500 on that. So what happened to the rest of the $100? Or what about the $50? Okay, what about $20? Or what did you do with that? Okay, where did you go? Didn't you say you are going to do that? Didn't you agree to do that? Didn't you promise to do that? Is that not what you are supposed to do? Didn't you think about the children? Why didn't you think about me? Why didn't you think about the children? What did you do with that? Men don't like that, I tell you, ladies. Men don't like that. Or for example, let me tell you a funny story. And this has happened, not just one story. This has happened many times. Like I said, we have people cooking for us, right? So, and during the day, I'm mostly not at home, right? And I don't eat the whole day. I'm not eating the whole day. I'm working the whole day. Then I come back at night. Then I see some food, little food left, because all the people cooking in the house, they live in the other house here. And, I cannot be calling them at 11 o'clock. Do you have some food? They've closed. The kitchen is closed. And men eat at night, by the way. Men eat at night. And, of course, that is one of the things my wife tried to change in me, right? But I want to change. But when I'm busy the whole day and I don't have time to eat and I just come back at 12 o'clock or 2 o'clock and sometimes, and even though I don't want to eat at night, but and I see some little food in the fridge. I say, wow, ooh, wow, okay. Thank God there is something in that fridge. Yeah, you know what I'm going to get in the morning, right? and because the ladies, especially my wife, she's got plans for everything. She has her own plan. I think maybe in most cases, I didn't know, but she's planned to take that particular food, maybe to give the children to go maybe to take for the children to take it with them to school, or maybe she needed to go to somewhere, or she had planned to give it to somebody maybe there is somebody sick in the hospital and I'm not aware. I just see food in the fridge and she's planned to give the person in the hospital, or the driver is supposed to take it to somewhere. I don't know. I see the thing is there, and it's my house, my family, and I go to the fridge, do what I need to do. Then in the morning, I said, Pastor, can you come here? When they summon me to the kitchen like that, I know, or to the fridge like that, I know, ooh, I'm in trouble. I am in trouble. You think I don't get into trouble? This is one of the troubles I get into. You think I'm Pastor Sunday, this big pastor doesn't get into trouble? I get into trouble. I do get into trouble. And this is one of the troubles I get into. So my wife will begin to ask me, what happened to there was a package there in the fridge. What happened to it? Do you know what happened to it? Even though I know what happened. Even though I know what happened to of course I know what happened to it. So I just go right to the I just go right to the point. I just say, Princess, I ate it because I thought it was free. Then you begin to ask the question, so why didn't you leave part of it? Something like that. I say, well, Princess, I've eaten it. Well, why didn't you ask? You are sleeping. Well, okay, oh, the problem was not that I ate it, but to answer all those questions. Wow, okay, Princess, you are killing me. What shall I do now? I said, what should I do now? So I said, Princess, why did you make some extra? Why do you tell them to make some extra? Let them make some extra. She said, I didn't tell them to make extra because I didn't know you have appetite at night. Well, you know. Can you believe it? That could happen in my house? That is happening in my house. That is happening in my house. You know, so men don't like to give all that kind of report. Men don't like to give all that kind of report. Okay, but you ate that thing. You are supposed to leave some percentage or half of it, maybe in case of anything. So what happened? Why did you do that? Why didn't you ask? Why didn't you call the kitchen? Or why didn't you do this? Why didn't you order? I said, Princess, why didn't I do it? You know, I don't know. I thought I shouldn't wake them up. I don't know. Men don't like those detailed reports. Men don't like those little reports. Men don't like them to be... Men don't like to feel themselves like schoolboys. I feel myself like a schoolboy sometimes. I feel myself like a schoolboy sometimes. Ooh, how it's difficult. Oh, it's so difficult. Especially when you are 50 years old. And you know you did the thing. You had that food. Yeah. And it's not funny. So... so I'm just trying to say that you know, when your husband messes up, that is not the best time to be asking him all those questions. When your husband messes up like that, every single question is like a stab in his chest. Those are not difficult answers. He could give you the answers, but you know, he's a man. He's a man, and men have something they call ego. Men have something they call ego. Even though he could answer you, but you know, he's dying in the process. So what I'm trying to say, I guess, is that, you know, when you catch your husband doing something you don't like, let him tell you or you tell him the way it is, but he doesn't want to go to too many details. He just feels like that's crazy. Yeah, he just feels that that's crazy. It's the same thing like when, you know, some women, they pick up the telephone of their husbands and they begin to say, okay, whose telephone? Who called just now? Who called just now? Who called just now? Okay. No, that's not my wife, but I know that people do that. Who called just now? Okay, whose number? Give me that telephone. Okay. Maybe he will give you the telephone. Okay, who is this person with this name? All those kind of questions. All those kind of questions, men don't fancy them. You know, okay, how did you know him? Is he do you work together? What department does he work in? What does she work in? Did she promise you to call? Did you tell her to call? Did you agree to call? So who gave her your telephone number? All those kind of questions, and that any kind of situation that is making a man to kind of look like stupid or look like a schoolboy, that it needs to be given interrogation. He's being interrogated, and he has to be given answers. he doesn't like it. There, especially when there are many questions like that about, digging deep into the man. They don't like it. They don't like it. So, yeah. Yeah, so. Anyway, I hope I was able to help you a little bit today. My time is, what time is it? Yeah, my time is up. Let me see. If you have not shared the link to this message, if you have not shared the message yet, please let's go ahead and share the message. Jide said, men don't like to be cornered at all. Okay, let me see some of your comments here. TY say, now wow, we ladies have a lot to learn. You can't even treat your child like that. How much more your Oga? Folashade said, wow, Pastor, your humility is out of this world. You are simply the best. Stella said, Pastor can tell everything just as they are. No pretense. God bless you, sir. Gift says, yeah, women really need package, extra goodies and packages. TY said, even my son doesn't like that kind of control. Gregory said, I don't laugh that here. Only Nigerians will understand that. I don't laugh die here. She got said, I would have given everything to catch your face in that instance, in the action where your wife was interrogating you. Well, my face was something like that. Or Princess, I'm sorry. Please, I did it, but I'm sorry. Gift says, you are just too real, doctor. It's funny. Oh, wow. Angela says, you are so sweet and natural, sir. Thank you. Jide said, I'm not alone, though, in that kind of situation. I'm sure he has fallen into that similar situation before, too. Folashade said, food should be hidden, I think, from the husbands. Stella said, I'm rolling on the floor here, out of laughter. Esther said, Dr. Adelaja is the funniest pastor in the whole wide world. And Marie said, Pastor's facial expressions are priceless. You know that has happened a lot. Shingo said, you are looking all guilty. Who's telling the story right now? Wale said, Pastor, it was the food that called your name. Jide said, you are only helping clean the fridge. If I told my wife that, she would have, I don't know what she would have done. Maybe she would have given me a dirty slap. Of course she would not, but I don't know what I would have really offended her if I said that. If I tell her I'm cleaning the fridge. I don't know. I would not enter that house again. Well, listen, you must shop now, Pastor. Well, you know. Gregory said, I have a woman who gave out a husband's car to a pastor without the husband consent because the pastor manipulated her with some prophecy. My God, that is a bold wife right there. Maji Yagbe said, men don't like women checking their phone, and it's not good for women too to have rest of mind. It's not good for our peace, right? Especially now that internet has brought more harm than good to homes. Most men have nude women pictures on their phones, Pastor. Wow. Princess Juliet said, Pastor, you made me laugh a lot tonight. Thank you very much. Well, guys, I think we've had a very good I think we've had a very good very good time tonight. Tomorrow morning, by the way, tomorrow morning I have a very serious court. I have a court case tomorrow morning, and that court case in the morning is going to be very that lawsuit tomorrow is going to be very serious. Actually, what happened is, let me just give you an idea of what happened. What happened is that the judges, I think something is wrong with the internet, right? But you can hear me. Okay, the judges threw out the case against me in the court. The judges threw out the cases against me, right? Now, the government is protesting, appealing that decision of the court to throw away the lawsuit against me. And the lawsuit has been going on. The lawsuit has been going on for 7 years now. For 7 years, and now that we got a victory from the court, now the government appealed it. So tomorrow is the appeal. Tomorrow is the court of appeal. Tomorrow is the appeal court so tomorrow morning I'm going to court, and so that is a decisive, because after appeal you cannot appeal again. So appeal is the decisive court that we're having tomorrow. So tomorrow, my court tomorrow it's a very serious morning to me tomorrow. I'm going to try to come to you in the morning before the court. I'm going to try my best to try and come on. But if you want to pray, if you want to have a time of prayer this evening, I will appreciate it. We need to agree in prayer that tomorrow's court will be successful. It will be in my favor, because that is the final one. That one, if it's decided in our favor, then Pastor Sunday might be soon free to fly. Michael Lopez, yes, please let the person from Nigeria go to my blog and register there. Yes. So I will appreciate your prayer support for tomorrow. And Chris is saying, can we all fast and pray tomorrow for Pastor? Okay, well, Pastor Chris Ogedengbe is saying that. I will appreciate that if you can do that. Yeah, that's going to be a very serious day tomorrow. Because the reason why I cannot start my Nigerian project is mainly because of these lawsuits. I cannot even leave Ukraine because of this lawsuit. But if we win it, then that's the beginning of a major breakthrough. That's going to be the beginning of a major breakthrough. So I will appreciate your prayers tomorrow. That's going to be a very serious day tomorrow. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. And we'll see you tomorrow morning. I will be there tomorrow morning by the grace of God. Actually, I will be doing the live program, and right from the live program, I will be entering to the court hall. So we just have to pray that their corruption will not affect it, that any corrupt plan, any corrupt intention, any corrupt agenda they might have, that God will frustrate it and let His will be done, and that His purpose will be established, then that any evil report and any evil plan will be thwarted by God in Jesus' name. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your support. But I will appreciate it tomorrow. It's actually starting here at 11 in the morning. That will be like 9 in the morning British time, and Nigerian time is, I think is it 10 in the morning, I think, or 9. If it's 2 hours difference, it will be, I don't know, I think Nigeria is 1 hour difference. Anyway, we'll see you tomorrow morning. God bless you guys. Good night.